The phone had been dead for 72 hours when the first message came through. On March 9, 2019, 26-year-old Rachel Voss was reported missing after failing to return from a solo day hike in the Morrow Creek Wilderness Area, northern Washington. She had checked in with her roommate at 11:17 a.m. from the trailhead parking lot. Her expected return was 6 p.m. By midnight, search and rescue had been notified. Rachel was experienced. She had completed this trail 4 times before. Weather conditions were favorable, visibility clear. The route was well marked, moderate difficulty, approximately 8 miles round trip. Nothing about the hike suggested elevated risk. Her vehicle was located at the trailhead the following morning, unlocked. Keys on the driver's seat. Her backpack was inside, water bottles full. Trail map unused. That didn't align with someone who had started a hike. Search teams deployed at first light on March 10th. They covered the primary trail, secondary access routes, and surrounding ridge lines. No footprints, no discarded items, no evidence she had entered the forest at all. Her phone had last pinged a tower at 11:19 a.m. on March 9th, 2 minutes after her check-in message. Then nothing. Battery life indicators suggested the device powered down or died shortly after. On March 12th, at 2:33 a.m., Rachel's roommate received a text message from Rachel's number. It contained no words, just a photo. The image showed a section of forest floor, dense undergrowth, low light. No identifying landmarks. The metadata was stripped. Her phone was still off. Carrier logs showed no active connection. The message should not have been possible. A second message arrived at 4:16 a.m. Another photo. This one showed a wider view, taken from a slightly elevated position. Tree trunks, ferns, the same indistinct forest. Still no metadata, still no active device connection recorded by the network. Search teams expanded their radius. Canine units were brought in. They found nothing. At 9:02 a.m. on March 12th, a third message came through. This one included text. "I can see the trail from here." The message was typed, not dictated, sent from a phone that registered as offline. Rangers cross-referenced the photos with known trail sections. The vegetation matched the general region but offered no specific location. Lighting analysis suggested the images were taken during daylight hours, not at the timestamp of transmission. Then something changed. On March 13th at 11:19 a.m. exactly 48 hours after Rachel's last confirmed ping, a fourth message arrived. It was a video. 11 seconds long. Shaky footage of someone walking through dense brush. The camera pointed downward, shoes visible, moving across uneven ground. No sound, no voice. The shoes matched the pair Rachel had been wearing, but the location data embedded in the video file placed it 16 miles northeast of the search area. In terrain she couldn't have reached on foot in the available time frame. Terrain that had already been aerially surveyed with no findings. A ranger team was dispatched to the coordinates immediately. They arrived at 3:40 p.m. The area was heavily wooded, steep grade, no established trails nearby. They found a single item, Rachel's jacket, folded neatly on a flat rock. It had been raining intermittently for 2 days. The jacket was dry. The jacket showed no signs of wear, no dirt accumulation, no exposure to the elements. It had been outside for less than an hour. The search team documented the scene and expanded their perimeter. Nothing else was recovered. At 7:54 p.m. that evening, a fifth message arrived, a photograph. It showed the interior of a structure. Wooden beams overhead, dim lighting, no windows visible. The angle suggested the phone had been set down, not held. In the lower right corner of the frame, barely visible, was the edge of a sleeping bag. Rachel's sleeping bag, confirmed by her roommate from the pattern. But Rachel's sleeping bag had been found in her apartment. It had never left. The timestamp on the photo read 11:19 a.m., March 9th, the same minute as her last known ping. The image had been taken 4 days earlier, but transmitted just now. Investigators attempted to trace the message route. Standard protocol hit a wall. The messages weren't bouncing through typical relay points. They appeared to generate from inside the carrier network itself, as if the phone had never disconnected. On March 14th, search operations were scaled back. Resources were redirected. Rachel's case was reclassified. Then, on March 16th, 7 days after she disappeared, her phone was found. Not in the forest. On the dashboard of her vehicle. The same vehicle that had been inspected, photographed, and locked by investigators. The phone was off. When powered on, it contained none of the messages her roommate had received. No photos. No video. The message history ended at 11:17 a.m. on March 9th with her check-in text. Forensic analysis found something else. The phone's internal log showed it had been stationary since 11:19 a.m. on March 9th. It had not moved, it had not transmitted, it had simply stopped. But 6 messages had been received on the other end. Messages containing images from locations the phone had never been. The device's accelerometer data was manually reviewed. No motion detected after the final ping. No steps, no orientation changes. The video showing someone walking could not have originated from that device. Rachel Sutherland remains missing. The messages stopped after the phone was recovered. No further transmissions, no additional evidence. The photos were analyzed by 3 separate labs. All confirmed they were not digitally altered. They depicted real locations, real objects. But the metadata chains were incomplete, fragmented, as if the images had been copied through a medium that didn't preserve origin data. Her case file remains open. The forest has been searched repeatedly. The coordinates from the video have been cross-referenced with satellite imagery from the relevant dates. No structures match the interior photograph. No explanation accounts for the jacket. And no theory reconciles how a phone that never moved sent images from 16 miles away. Some devices stop transmitting when they lose signal. Others stop when they find something else to connect to. And sometimes the signal that answers isn't the one you expected. Rachel Voss was never found. Her case remains active, but search operations formally concluded on March 29, 2019. The messages have been reviewed by digital forensics teams, telecommunications experts, and independent analysts. No consensus has been reached. What is confirmed? 6 messages were received from a device that registered as offline. Images depicted locations that could not be correlated to Rachel's known movements. A video showed motion from a phone whose internal sensors recorded none. And evidence appeared in areas already cleared by search teams, placed with precision that defies explanation. The phone is stored in an evidence locker in Bellingham. It is not activated since March 16th. Periodic checks show no anomalies. The device functions normally. The messages exist in carrier logs, time-stamped, documented, unexplained. Her roommate no longer uses the number those messages were sent to. Rangers who participated in the search have requested transfers. The trailhead sees fewer visitors now, not because of danger, because of the questions that remain unanswered. If Rachel never entered the forest, where did the images come from? If her phone never moved, what sent the transmissions? And if the jacket was placed after the area was searched, who folded it so carefully on that rock? Some searches end when the missing are found. Others end when the search itself becomes the evidence. Rachel's messages stopped the moment her phone was recovered, as if the device was never the source, just the receiver. and whatever was sending those images no longer needed it.